Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build at Home. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and I'm coming to you from my home, as is, I believe, our next guest. Before we get started, as I'm sure you are all aware, because of the coronavirus, schools are closed nationwide, which means millions of children are losing the healthy meals they depend on every day. I believe, as of today, more than 438 million meals have been lost. Now, because of this, we've been kicking off all of our talks recently, highlighting the work and efforts of NoKidHungry.org. No Kid Hungry has a plan to feed these kids, which is great, but we need your help. So head over to NoKidHungry.org. If you happen to be someone in a position to give a little, then consider No Kid Hungry as one of the places to give. They're doing some really important, awesome work over there. So let's get started with the show because I've got an incredible guest for you. He's a crazy talented singer songwriter, multi instrumentalist, which means he plays multiple instruments. He's an actor. You, of course, know him and love him as Ricky on the Disney Plus original High School Musical, the series. And today, today, you can check out the release of his new original song, Common Sense. Wherever you may be right now, make some noise and go nuts. And join me in welcoming back to the show the great Joshua Bassett. Joshua, how you doing, man?
Yo, how's it going, man?
It's nice to have you back on, dude. How are you holding up? How's quarantine life treating you, dude?
It's I was really not thrilled about it at first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of enjoying the time to like really come back to myself and like there's
Right.
a lot of projects that I wanted to work on in my own time that I didn't really have time to do. So this is like I mean, obviously there's a lot of awful things happening in the world, but it is nice to kind of have time to like really recenter myself and work on projects that I've just had in my back pocket for a while, including music. I have a whole setup. So it's nice to be able to just kind of, stay inside all day and work on stuff. So
That's
it's
pretty
good.
amazing, man. And we've got a new song dropping today. Have you found yourself writing a lot? I know this new song is sort of the first of a bigger thing to come down the road, talks of an EP or an album. Have you been writing new music and just really digging into that with the time that you have?
Yeah, I've been writing new music. I have a lot of songs kind of in my back pocket that I haven't really
Right.
fully done. And so now I have the luxury of the time to like take what I already have and really kind of polish it up and get it to the
Sure.
place that it should be. So yeah, it's a little bit of writing new stuff, but also kind of working on the stuff that I already have.
Yeah.
Because even like Common Sense, I recorded that like 2.5 years ago and put it on my Instagram. Like it was just like so that's been in my back pocket for
You've had that for a
forever.
while. Yeah.
So like finally getting it out, it's like yes to the world, it's new, but to me it's like I've had that there for forever. So getting some of that old stuff out is the goal.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about like the decision behind that song and why that one because yeah, for sure you've been posting stuff for a while. You've been putting music up there. One of the things though before we get to that I've heard is super important right now with everything going on is that while we're home, it's important to like find a rhythm and figure out a routine. Mine has been a mess. I'm staying up way too late. I'm playing a ton of Animal Crossing. I'm eating way too much. I'm curious, have you found your routine yet? Have you figured out like what your day looks like right now?
Yeah. I've had the same struggles. Like I'm just now really getting into my groove.
Yeah.
I have to make a limit to no later than 9:30 a.m. I can't sleep in later than 9:30. And if I
So
set that
important.
rule, then I won't go to bed too late, and then it just kind of helps everything. But I try to do some little like YouTube workouts, like 15-minute hit routines and stuff.
Nice.
I go on walks around the neighborhood all the time, and it's so funny seeing everyone else on walks because they're
Yeah.
like nothing to do.
Yeah.
But everyone's so much nicer now. Like everyone's so like warm and welcome. Except some people like cross the street when they see other people. It's like I get that too, like people being
Yeah.
extra safe. But generally, people crave connection, and so seeing other people is like is great. But yeah, I mean, not really a typical routine, but I do try
Yeah.
to get up by 9:30 and work out and just kind of get things going and start writing and
Yeah.
just
Stay
try to be
moving.
as productive as I can because if not, I would
Exactly.
literally go insane. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think we're all just avoiding going insane right now.
Yes, that's
Uh,
the goal.
Earlier this week, I saw there was a performance on Nickelodeon's Town Hall. You like tweaked Common Sense a little bit for that, which I thought was fun. And I think you're actually later today, you're performing on Instagram as part of Together at Home campaign. That's got to be an exciting thing to have to do, right? You looking forward to that?
Correct. Yeah, it's really awesome to be able to be part of this. It's a very scary time for a lot of people. It's a very lonely time. It's a very, you know, it's just so uncertain. That's the thing is like it's unprecedented. It's uncertain. It's
Yeah.
like people are, and so to be a part of something like the World Health Organization's Together at Home project is so neat because this is such a massive moment in history that is going to be read about in
Forever.
history books.
Yeah,
Like it's just
forever. This is
crazy
it. Mm.
to be a part of that time and to contribute what I can to that kind of that kind of movement is insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome.
For sure. I talked to Jewel earlier this week about performing to funk. She's been doing a lot of concerts at home as well, raising
Mm,
awareness for certain stuff. I'm curious to get your perspective as an artist who's been recording music on their phone and posting it online for a while. Do
mhm.
these performances feel a little different than in the past, or do they just kind of feel the same because it's still you in a room just having an
Yeah, I
intimate
mean,
moment with your phone?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it is still me in a room, um, but I think people. I think this sounds so cheesy, but I
Go for
truly
it.
have learned through this that art really can be therapeutic.
Hmm.
Um, it like good art, it truly is therapy. Um, and I think a lot of people need therapy right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
having to do therapy over the phone, which
Yeah.
is still great. It's not the best, but like people really need that connection. Like I was saying, they crave that. And so in a way it feels the same, but it's you can definitely feel the energy of like,
Yeah.
it being different, I
And
guess.
I wouldn't say it's cheesy, man. I mean, like honestly, make no bones about it. Like we know, as people putting on this show and doing these things, at the end of the day, what matters is like you're healthy, you're safe, people are being
Mm,
safe and being healthy. But the whole reason we decided to keep doing the show and do it remotely is because all of this art, it's what everyone's turning to, it's what they're consuming, and
mhm,
everyone's talking about it. And so just to be a part of that conversation, at the end of the day, yeah, what matters is everyone's safe and important. But it's not a cheesy thing. I think the art is helping a lot of people get through a lot of
mm,
shows, a lot of music right now for sure. I gotta
totally.
say, congratulations again, man. Not only for the new music today, but it was recently announced that you signed a freaking record deal with Warner Records, man. That's amazing. Good for you, dude. That's got to be a
Thank
great
you so
feeling.
much. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was insane. That's actually a interesting story that I haven't really told anybody is I was trying to release my song back in November, this song. I was like ready to go.
Okay,
I had no label. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. So I recorded the song. I did it all. I got a mixer and master, and I just got it all done. And I was
good
like,
for you, man.
screw it. I got my friend to do the photo shoot. That photo is from my buddy, who's like just incredible. I was like, look, man, I can give you what I can give you. Like, let's
Yeah,
just figure it out. So I was like, let's get this thing going. And then Warner came into the picture and we were like, oh, maybe we don't have to do this all right now. Maybe we can take a beat and get our things in order. So that pushed the release back a little bit while we like figured out that whole
got it.
situation. But they came in at just the right time.
Yeah.
It was pretty perfect. And the team over there is like just incredible. It's so nice to have a team I can trust with my career and my
Hmm.
music, and they totally get it. And it's a really cool position to be in. So sorry about that. Are we back?
Yeah, it's all good, man. You were saying it's a
That
cool
goes down.
position to be in.
Um, it's a cool position to be in because the timing of it all, I feel like I'm in a different position than a lot of newer artists where I have kind of this mutual respect with the label and they see
Hmm.
me a little bit more as an established artist, even though I've
Yeah.
never had any music out. So it's nice to have that relationship and the equal respect.
It's wild that you bring that up because one of the things that I was like not drawn to or like interested in, I was reading a thing about this, a release, and the
Hmm.
A&R guy at Warner, Nate, I think his name was, he had said in
Yeah.
an interview that he was blown away by how developed you were, calling you this triple threat that you're writing, producing, performing, and I thought it was so cool to hear that dude's perspective and like. You're all right. So you star in a show on Disney. That's a life goal. You've done that. But like, put that aside for a second. That meeting is the one as a musician. That's the meeting that you're training for and preparing for your whole life, right? So what was
Right.
it like in that room? Were you nervous? Could you feel the vibe? Could you tell this Nate guy was like impressed with you? What was it like from your side of the story? Like, did you know
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
were crushing it? Like,
No, no. So I don't know. I had my fair share of like, I met with a couple people and it was just like not quite
yeah.
vibing, and so I had been through that a few times. And so when I went in to meet with them, I was I was already a little bit jaded and just like,
Mhm.
okay, like let's see how this goes. Like I didn't get my hopes up too much
Yeah.
because it's like you never know. And I sat down and immediately like Nate Albert is not only just a brilliant A&R mind, but he's such a genuinely wonderful person. And I was immediately put at ease by even
Yeah.
just his voice and like who he is. And he made it so welcoming and so awesome versus a lot of times they'll try to intimidate you and be cold, like a lot of
Right.
executives in the music world. But he was very like warm and welcoming, and it just I immediately felt at home there. Like I immediately felt a sense of like belonging and freedom to really be who I am. And
That's
so
awesome,
that
man.
kind of overrode any kind of fear or anxiety. Obviously, I was still a little nervous,
Of course. It's
but
a big
you know
deal.
it. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, he made me feel very much at home and whatnot. And he held my hand through the whole process. Like when we went
Mm.
to meet with Tom Corson, the COO, and Aaron, the CEO, like he would always like see me 5 minutes before and just kind of prep me and be like, "Yo, how are you feeling? Like, do you feel good? What are you
Right, right.
concerned about? This is who you know." So it was really nice to feel like you had someone on your team who was
Yeah.
really believed in me, and he actually showed interest before the show aired, which I thought um, was was one of the
Interesting.
main things that made me really drew me to
Got
Warner.
it.
I could
So
talk.
he saw it before, because we'll get to that in a second. Before all that, but he saw you as an artist, and that was really exciting for you. You're like, okay, this dude knows Joshua. He doesn't know Ricky. He knows me and like my music and what I do.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the thing is like I think a lot of people it's easy like when something starts kind of taking off to be like, "Oh, we look at it as like a business thing and be like,
Hmm.
"Oh, if he's taking off here, then let's try and, versus him he was totally the other way around.
Yeah.
He was like, "Look, this High School Musical stuff is awesome, but I'm more worried about you as an artist. Like I'm more worried about the music and the art and how we can
Right.
take
Right. Right.
that to the level that it can be at." And that's why he's one of the greats. He's
That's
amazing.
super awesome, man. So I mentioned it earlier. Let's get to it. So why this track is the first one? I think fans have been following you. They know like I'm still in love with you. They know Do It All Again. I think Sorry was another one. Why was
Yeah.
Common Sense with all the songs that you have in the locker in the back pocket ready to go? Why was that one the one for you to like? That's the one I want to put out.
Yeah, I mean, that tends to be a well, first of all, that song means a lot to me, and
Hmm.
writing that song was insane. And I think I mentioned it in the article you were referencing earlier, but it was kind of like it just hit me. It was one of those songs that like I was literally driving and it just came to me, and I was like, "Oh my, it's brilliant!" And I just like I couldn't keep up with myself. It was as
Yeah.
if the song was already written, and I was just like trying to get it out. And then I pulled over in a Westfield, parking lot, and in my car just pulled out my guitar and finished the song, and it was like whoa, it was insane. And a
Wow.
lot of times I would like show people some of my songs and they would always be like, "Oh, what was that Common Sense one? Go back to that one." And again, it was my first original song that I posted on Instagram. And it just felt like it just felt right.
It's like
It
a
was
full
like the
circle
first
moment.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. Full
Yeah.
circle is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Fun little fact. I don't know if anyone caught this the first time around. I saw a few people actually on Twitter tweeting about this, but I right before we sent in this song to get remixed and mastered,
Mhm.
I listened to my Instagram version again and I was like, those birds sound sick. There's birds in the background while I'm playing. And I was like, that sounds really great. So as a little bit of a nugget, I actually had to re-download that song from my Instagram, rip it illegally off of my Instagram. Um, get the
That's
audio, put it into my music
oh
program
my
and
god.
and cut down just to where the birds are. I put them in twice in the first like 15-ish seconds of the song. Um, and so if you go back, you can hear the birds, and that's from the Instagram page. That's a little callback to all the OG people who were there from the start. I thought that was a
That's
little fun.
awesome. That is so much fun when you can put little like Easter eggs like that in your own stuff,
Right.
man. That's pretty amazing. With someone who has so many songs written, how do you see this in your head? Like, do you already know like what the track list for your first album is going to be? Are you still figuring all that sort of stuff out? You feel like with so much stuff written, I feel like you have a lot of these like plans in your head that you had for years. Like you've been waiting for this moment.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I have a lot of plans in my head. I have a lot of
Mhm.
ideas. I'm always like thinking ahead, and I think the most important thing to me is being as true to myself as possible. And I think
Yeah.
the people who have enjoyed my music so far, it would feel it would feel f- disingenuous, I guess,
Yeah.
to make my music anything other than what it is. And that's why I think Common Sense is a perfect example of how I took what the song is and just slightly elevated it to kind of bring it up just a notch,
Right.
but still keep it true to its core. And I think that's my favorite thing about songwriting is like you can do all the production, you can do all this stuff, but you strip it away and is the song good? Is the
Right.
is
Is
the
it a good
meat of
song?
it right?
Yeah.
And so if you do have that, then you can dress it up if you want, But my goal is to just take like the songs that I already have and elevate them to a point where I can still have my artistic like input on that, but where it still feels true to the song and not
Hmm.
like I'm putting on this front and being someone who I'm not, because that just wouldn't be,
Yeah,
that's just not authentic. And the goal is to be as me as possible. And I hope that that resonates with people. So,
for sure, man.
we're
Well,
figuring it out.
congrats again on the song. We've got a couple of minutes left before we get out of here. I got some more stuff that I wanted to ask you, but congrats on this song. And
Thank
it
you.
is it's a super chill track, and I think it's kind of perfect listening right now.
Hmm.
And it's kind of a perfect song for this moment in time. I think a lot of people can use something pretty chill to listen to right now.
Thank you, man. I
So I'm
appreciate
excited
that.
for more music from you, dude. So before we get out of here, when you and I last spoke, it was days away from the official launch of the Disney
Right.
Plus show of High School Musical. We got to talk before it came out. What has that ride been like? Watching this thing drop and just watching so much love and support for you guys and for this show. What was that experience like? Sum it up, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's so not real life. Like
Yeah.
it's so bizarre. It feels so like I do stay off social media a lot of the time, and a lot of people who follow me know that they don't love that. But I it's just it's like in a way it's totally me up there, but it's
Yeah.
not me. It's this weird
Right.
thing. But I think the first time it really set in for me and my co-star Olivia, like the first time it really like hit us, we went to Atlanta for the Junior Theater Festival. It was 7,000 theater kids, and we got to
Whoa.
sing this one of the songs from the show, and then an original song that
Hmm.
Olivia and I wrote. Um, and so going out there and performing an original song, just me, the guitar, and Olivia in front of 7,000 screaming, it was like the most insane thing. That was like a pinch me, like, whoa, because that was like a
What is
real
it?
world
Yeah.
thing. It was like, what is happening right now? Like,
Yeah.
that was insane.
Was that
But
7,000
it's,
people sorry to cut you off, but I'm just curious,
you're
at
good.
that moment in time, was that one of the larger crowds you've played for or played in front
The
of?
largest,
7,000? The
hands
largest.
down.
Yeah. Oh, so
Yeah.
that's wild. You're never going to forget that moment in time,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting that. It was pretty surreal. It's also been really fun to kind of see the reactions to things
Hmm.
on just like Twitter and stuff. Just because like we lived with the show for so many months,
For sure.
and we fell in love with the show like over and over again. Every script we got, we'd be like, oh, this scene is greater, this and this. And so it took like I don't know 7 8 months from the
Wow.
first start of filming for the show to come out. Maybe even longer than that.
Yeah.
It might have been like 10 months since we started.
Almost a year.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, almost a year. So seeing people's reaction was like a nice refresher of like, oh my gosh, it's like kind of like living it for the first time again through other people in a way.
For sure.
It was very fun. Yeah.
And also it's like a validation. Like you fall in love with it, but you also don't know, like you're so close to it and you're making that thing. So it's
Right.
easy for you to kind of fall in love with it. And then to see everyone else fall in love with it, you're like, all right, we're not crazy. This is good. This
Totally.
is a great thing.
Well, that's the thing though, is like Olivia wrote All I Want for episode 4. And um she I don't know the order of who she showed it to, but I believe
Mhm.
I heard one of the I was one of the first people to hear it. Like she
Yeah.
showed her mom and then she showed me. And I remember her saying something, I'm kind of exposing her now, but she said something like, "Oh God, it's terrible. I'm going to start from scratch." And I was like, "What are you talking about? You're going to start from scratch?" I was like, "No, this is perfect." I was like, "What are you talking? This is incredible." I was like blown away. And she's like, I don't know, I don't know." And I'm like, "I'm telling you right now, this
Yeah.
is incredible." And of course, it's like the number one song of the show. It's like a massive hit. I'm like, of course it's a
Yeah.
massive hit. I knew that from the time you played it. I can't imagine a world in which she was like, I'm gonna start from scratch.
And just
I
gone.
mean,
Poof.
I'm sure she would have written another incredible song, but I knew right then and there. So stuff like that, like I knew with other people's stuff, I was like that. I can totally see people
Yeah.
resonating with people, and yeah,
And sure enough,
it's
there it
awesome.
was. Last thing before we get out of here, you guys, nobody's surprised by the existence of a season two. But keep me
Hmm.
honest, you started work on it, but then everything happened. You guys had to shut down, right? Is that what
Right.
happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Correct.
obviously, you can't. I'm not asking for spoilers. I'm not asking for anything like that. But how far along were you guys? Did you get? Were you filming? Were you just in rehearsals? Were you just reading stuff? Do you know if you could even say that? I don't want to get you in trouble. I was
I
just
don't know if
curious
I could
how
say
far you
that.
got.
I think it's relatively public knowledge that we had started filming.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we a couple episodes in, and all I can say is every day on set was a pinch me moment.
Really?
It
Oh
was
man.
just so exciting because the first season we weren't sure what the show was. We have no idea what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
all kind of like figuring it out as we go. We don't even know. We even like we filmed different versions. Like in the first episode, they had us do things a couple different ways because they weren't even sure how they were going to edit it together and how it was
Oh
going to look.
wow.
So we were still figuring out like the pacing and the tone and
Interesting.
all that. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and so while we did have fun and it was very exciting, we still had there was a lot of learning
Hmm.
in the first season. So then having the first season under your belt, knowing that it's mostly well received, being able to go back into season two, like in the groove, knowing what the show is, and even just like the writers being able to know the show, and now the writers room is filled with people who are mega fans of the show, which is just
Yeah.
so awesome. Like it's people who love it, and
So
so
cool.
we're able to take things to another level because we're all like in the groove. It's just it's so exciting, and
Yeah.
I think people are really gonna love it. I know I did, and last season I loved every second of it, and clearly that did well. So
That worked
I
out.
hope that
It's a good
works out
sign.
this season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good
for
sign,
sure.
man. Well, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got to get ready. You got a bunch of other stuff you got to do. But one, sincerely, thank you for taking some time to hang out and chat with me again, man. It's always awesome to talk to you. I'm super happy that you're safe and you're healthy and your family's doing well and everybody's doing all right. Stay safe. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep writing music. I'll remind everybody out there, Common Sense is widely available. It's out today. If you haven't listened to it already, I don't know why you're watching this. Go listen to that song right now. And keep an eye out and an ear out for more music. Anything else you want to tell anybody before we get out of here, man?
I don't know. Stay safe and practice social distancing.
That's it.
It's
That's
really
it.
important right now. It's all you can do, but it matters. Every little
Yeah.
person can help.
Awesome.
Thank you, man. I
Hey,
appreciate it
thank
so
you, dude.
much.
Fingers crossed. This will all blow over, and when that record comes out, you come to New York again, and we'll hang out and do this again. All right.
Sounds great. I'm looking
Awesome,
forward to
man.
it, man.
Thanks so much.
Thank
All right,
you.
everybody, wherever you are, make noise for Joshua. Thanks, dude.
Hey, have a good one. Peace.